Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Ji Xiaojun.
Hello from Beijing. I'm Louisa Lee.
And recently there is new policy introduced in Shanghai, which is causing quite some, not controversy, but discussion.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it has been the talk of town. People are always talking about it, especially people who live in Shanghai. They've been discussing it day and night.
What is it?
Garbage sorting, waste sorting, basically.
So why people are now so curious about this?
I guess people are becoming more eco-friendly, eco-conscious.
You sure?
Well, I think so. I think that's the trend.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah, but why people are discussing that?
Because it's quite confusing, I would say.
Confusing, or maybe making life not as convenient as before, or maybe people supposedly say, politically correctly say, this is the right thing to do. But again, this is making the life inconvenient.
I mean, it is the right direction, but
Okay.
how to implement it, that's something that we're going to be discussing about.
We'll see, because we're now joined in the studio by a pack of guests. So we have, I can't even remember their names. Introduce yourselves. What do you do?
So my name is Fei Yuan. I'm from Sintao. Actually, we are working on the consultant business and advising companies to improve their environmental and responsibility performance. And this topic is quite related to my work.
Welcome, Doctor. And?
I'm Joe. I'm one of the co-founders of the Bulk House. We are a zero-waste social enterprise, so we're trying to encourage people to reduce their waste.
Zero waste. That's the key word.
My name is Carrie, and I'm the other co-founder of the Bulk House. And yeah, we're a social enterprise trying to promoting this zero-waste lifestyle to encourage people to live more eco-friendly and conscious.
Just one note: these three guests are from Beijing. Well, on the other side, these three guests are from Shanghai. You see what is going on, yeah?
Yeah.
Please.
My name's Matt. I'm currently a middle school teacher. I used to run an organization with another friend called Shanghai Soup, which raises awareness about food wastage.
And?
I'm Lina. I'm a Shanghai citizen since the first day I was born. So, yeah.
Born and raised in Shanghai?
Yeah, born and raised. I studied in Shanghai, worked in Shanghai, get married. So this new policy actually influenced my daily life and also my family regular routine lives.
Interesting.
Hi all, my name is Daisy, and I went to Shanghai for my college study like 7 or 8 years ago. And I started my first job last year. I work as an interpreter and translator today.
Okay. So first tell us, what is going on in Shanghai?
The government introduced a new rule, which waste now is to be sorted into 4 main categories, rather than just taking it out and throwing it. So that's being implemented at the moment.
Recyclable and non-recyclable?
No, it is household waste.
What is that?
Household waste.
Okay.
So mainly leftovers from food, scraps, things like that. Anything that could be, I guess, eaten by a pig is one example. And then there's residual waste, which is anything which I believe is used that you wouldn't necessarily use again, you wouldn't recycle. Then there's hazardous waste, anything that would kill you. Yeah. And then finally is recyclable waste, things that can be used again. So at the moment, there are new bins, new systems, new policies, and it's all being implemented in this last month in Shanghai.
So you're saying it's been influencing your life quite a bit, and the most talked about topic would be?
What kind
of...
Where does it go? Yeah,
which bin does it go?
Yeah, which bin does it go? Yeah. And you have to set up several collecting bins inside of your apartment, to put it the right way, so...
Yeah, the sorting is the issue. Which category does it belong to, and also the timing, right?
Yeah, the timing things.
There is a timing thing.
There's another additional policies adding up to this sorting policies. So that was suggested only allowed 4 hours for every day to collecting. So in the whole community, that allowed you to dispose of your waste from
2
your
time
home.
slots or only just 1?
4 hours. It
2.
Could depend on every community's discussion. So that usually come to the morning time and the afternoon time or early evening time.
So there's a time frame when you can take out your trash?
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Other than that, then you have to keep them in the house.
They close the waste bin. They lock the other room.
Yeah, we have a designated area
but you can still throw it in
drop
the
off
and
our
only
waste.
in designated areas.
Yeah.
Why?
So, for example, in my compound, we haven't yet got the recycling facility, so we're still using the old bins. It's being rolled out sort of slowly across the city. Some friends have more advanced than others. My friend's compound, like you said, there's 4 hours per day, 2 time slots, which are just after breakfast and just after dinner.
Yeah.
So around like 8 till 9, 8 till 10, I think.
Yeah,
and then
it's 6 to 8, something like that.
Yeah.
And the sorting and timing, so how is it affecting your life?
Actually, my life is not severely affected.
Not severely.
Well, because, thanks to my mom and my roommate. I rent an apartment with my roommate in Shanghai, and my parents do not live in Shanghai, but both of them are quite forward-thinking in this regard. So prior to this change, they have been asking me to do a simpler version of waste sorting in the house. We have at least 2 bins. Well, much simpler version. So one for kitchen waste, the other for, plastic, glass, paper. So we've already had 2 bins in the house. So my life was not severely affected. Well, so thanks to them.
You're just one step ahead. You're here to show off anyway. So any comments on what is going on in Shanghai?
I do like that because I'm sort of environmentalist. And I still remember 20 years ago when I started in the university, I did this campaign and I failed. So I'm happy to...
She's successful.
Yeah, I'm happy to see this is going well now, or starting to going well.
And it didn't work out 20 years ago.
Because I think simply there's no enforcement and no incentive.
He didn't have the parents she had.
Right, yes. You can talk to friends. Friends will follow your advice for 1 week, 2 weeks, but this is really, really inconvenient, like you said.
Inconvenient.
They say goodbye.
I mean, I grew up recycling in the West, so it was really hard for me when I first came to Beijing. I couldn't find recycle bins. And you see it on the street, but when you look into the bin, you see recycle and it's all mixed together, and I really feel bad about it. So I have bins at home. I separate myself, and I take it to, I put it next to a trash can, but I don't know if it gets mixed together. But, at least I feel like I'm doing my part.
Sounds like this is going the right direction, right? It's going to your zero waste direction, basically. Shanghai is doing what you're trying to do with your campaign.
Yeah, so so Shanghai is mainly focusing on recycling.
Yeah.
Our campaign, I guess we'll call it a campaign, it's our promotion of the idea of zero waste, is to get people to first start refusing things that they don't need. So lots of single-use plastic bags and plastic bottles and
reducing
plastic
waste,
straws. Reduce what you do need, which is kind of a strange one when you first hear it, but it just means to ask yourself, do I actually need this many plastic bottles in my life, or do I need to buy this much food when I go to the supermarket, when I remembered last week I actually wasted about 10 or 15% anyway because I didn't eat it in time and it went bad and I threw it away. And then the biggest one, which we need people to be doing before recycling, is reusing as well. So that's a third R. Reuse as many different things as you can.
Yeah. So that's what you're hoping to achieve with the campaign going on in Shanghai, say introducing this new policy, and people would start to consider using less. It's not less than they... Do not buy more than they need.
Exactly.
This way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Think twice before purchasing all these stuff. I mean, and to really think about whether you need it or not.
Yeah. Right. So we need this, the garbage classification going along. Garbage classification running along with the concept of zero waste. And then there's a lot less money, time, effort, stress being put into the system to deal with all this.
You know what, Joe? It's all good in principle, in theory. But what exactly is going on in Shanghai, what's been very much talked about is, first and foremost, the sorting. So the four, you mentioned the four categories. So we have leftovers,
you have household, right?
Residual, hazardous, recyclable.
I have a little pop quiz for everyone, and we're going to test everyone's knowledge about, sorting garbage, okay?
So Shanghai and Beijing, they're supposed to know
They're supposed to know.
everything.
They're like the know-how group.
Yeah, you have to do a test to leave the city nowadays.
They get the right answer.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So where should we put this? The first one is pet waste.
I don't keep a pet, so it's up to you.
I'm going to say residual waste.
Residual.
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 I think it's also residual.
Is it not
Yeah,
hazardous?
same.
No,
No, it's not.
No, it depends on.
You need to package it.
No. It depends on what kind of pet
Oh,
waste
okay.
it is. Yeah.
What do you
so
mean?
the
Dog
big
and
one
cat?
or
dogs
small
and
one?
cats,
They
they're
go to
different.
different bins.
Different.
Dogs
Yeah.
and cats.
Different.
What about birds?
Recently, okay. Birds.
People raise people keep birds all the time. There's loads of people who keep birds. Or what about a weird animal like a crocodile?
Yeah. Recently in WeChat, we have quite a lot of discussions about that. So
Ooh.
actually, they have confirmed that with the dog poos, you have to bring it back to the toilet and flush it.
You're
Just like
supposed to flush it,
Yeah,
and
flush
then you
it.
throw papers and cat litter to residual waste.
So it's
Yeah.
residual.
Yeah.
So you do not put it in the bin. You flush it.
Yeah.
You flush the
Flush the
Dog
waste,
poo.
Yeah,
but
the
cat
dog
waste.
Not
you can-
the cats.
No.
the cat. Well,
That's
'cause
discrimination.
How about cat litter
they're
goes to
taking out a
residual
lawsuit.
Yeah, there's going to be cats, I don't, which one's going to be protesting? I don't know which
Exactly.
one.
Okay. Next
Yeah.
one.
Nutshell. You know,
Like
when we have shell. So what do you do with
smaller-
it? Is it
I think smaller ones are dry.
Yeah.
That is,
I think
a smaller one is wet waste. That is leftover kitchen waste.
Kitchen.
But
Yeah, but big
smaller
ones.
and harder ones
How big
like
is big?
walnut,
Like a bone has to
perhaps.
go into residual waste.
Okay.
chestnut.
Shells.
Shells, I think, I agree with you. They go in the normal leftovers. But if it's like the skin of a coconut or something.
Yeah,
That's
because
a
I guess
dry one.
coconut? I always wonder where it goes.
coconut, I think
It's
it's
a dry one.
residual.
I think that goes in
Residual.
residual because if
Residual.
it's bigger and not easy to
It
break
cannot
down,
be
I guess
used
it goes in the
for
residual. If it's
compost.
smaller, then it
And
goes.
yeah.
Okay, so
Residues.
so the shell goes to residual waste,
Yeah.
and then inside, I guess the nut itself goes to household
Yeah.
The
food
nut
waste.
goes in your mouth.
That's where it should be going.
Next one. Next one.
Let's just grow this nut tree and then let's just put it all in the bin.
This one
Like,
is easy. This one is easy. Take out box. This is pretty easy. Take out box.
What's
And
it
left
made
over?
of?
Recycle.
Take out
Are
box.
they-
It's made of, I guess, plastic.
Yeah. So
Package, right?
Yeah, package.
plastic
You should
foam,
clean it
cardboard,
first and put it
paper,
into the
recycle-
recycle.
I mean,
wrapping
let's just
stuff.
say food, you know, take out food.
recyclable.
Recycle.
Yeah, you have to clean it first.
Unless it is polluted.
Yeah.
But by
Contaminated.
polluted,
What do you mean polluted?
Contaminated.
By poo-poo.
Contaminated.
Yeah.
What
But
if
is that
it's-
if
what if
something's
it's-
soaked into it? Right.
Right.
If it's plastic,
Yeah.
like a container for
You wash it and
you
you
can
right,
But
rinse
what
it
I
out
always
and
wonder about this, what if
recycle.
it's really, really oily? You know how like Sichuan hot pot, like really oily,
And
like
it changes the color of the
Wash
plastic.
it.
you
clean it.
But it's super greasy though. Is it still recyclable? I always wonder about
Right.
that.
And it
Residue.
changes the
That,
color.
that's
So
one of
plastic
the
goes orange.
dilemma because if you have to wash all the boxes, what about waste of water? What
Yeah, that's
about
the thing,
water
right.
pollution?
Waste
It's a
of-
trade-off.
Imagine
Okay.
a coffee, you drink coffee, right? So if you drink coffee
that's the
and you
next one.
drink...
Coffee. So
sorry.
what do we do with a coffee cup?
Are we-
Recyclable.
These ones are tricky though because they're lined with a thin layer of plastic. So they say in the UK these aren't actually that recyclable because if it's just cardboard they can break it down, but
Yeah.
it's actually got plastic inside
Yeah.
to stop the coffee coming through. So
It's not recyclable.
we're being told in the UK now that things like a coffee cup from many branded companies are lined with plastic, so they don't separate
It's
properly.
their
through.
fault then.
It's a manufacturing issue, so it's, not,
Also with milk cartons as well. I mean,
yeah,
right?
so
It's
yeah.
kind of like
Same thing.
debatable,
same
like
is
whether
true
you can
of
recycle
most
or not.
soda cans. They have a thin layer of plastic between the
Inside they
aluminium
have
and
a
Where
the
do they
film
go in
inside.
Shanghai for now?
For
I think they go in
coffee cup.
recycling.
Yeah, coffee.
Recyclable.
It
No,
says
it's
you have to
not.
clean it.
You
It
don't
goes to
know.
recycle.
Clean it first.
You have to
If
clean
it's
first.
unclean,
Yeah.
it goes to residual waste.
Residual.
So how clean is clean?
So they're all
Yeah,
going to
how
end up in
clean-
residual. though.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because
Next
if
one,
you have
next one.
Okay, the
Unless
next
you
one
like
is
to lick the coffee out of it.
shellfish, like say oysters.
Oysters, the shells.
Residual.
The shell-
Again.
Yeah.
Leftovers.
Residual because
Residual,
a
yeah.
pig can't eat those.
Leftovers.
So shell to residual waste, yes.
Yeah,
But
'cause it's bigger, hard to break
oyster
down.
itself.
Don't waste an oyster.
I
There's
know.
so
Again,
much
eat it.
money.
Eat it.
Household food waste.
Household, right?
So
Yeah.
this
I mean,
is
if it goes
no,
bad,
no,
maybe.
the
you
shell
know.
of the
Oh,
oyster.
the shell, okay.
The
Sorry.
shell of the
So the
oyster.
argument is, if you have an
basically
oyster that
stone.
you've bought and you've let it go bad and wasted your money, you have to still shuck it, flick out the actual
Yeah.
oyster,
Which is a
into one
great
bin,
verb.
and then throw the shells
You
in
do.
another.
Think about it. If your food gets spoiled, you still have to clean it up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
in a
What
way,
about
it's
a
the same.
chicken?
what? Chicken?
So
I
it
mean,
says
what's
that you
that?
should separate larger bones from
the meat.
normal.
How big-
So
All
you
the
buy a
chicken
piece,
bones,
I think
all the
chicken bones
are
are
the wet
but a
ones.
Yeah.
pork leg,
Household.
do I have to take the
Are-
bone out? Or
No, no, no.
Well, this is just a little demonstration of what is going on in Shanghai. People are having, so it's still new to Shanghai. That is why people are not quite sure about
But it
where
shows
it
it's
should go.
working. If people are talking about it, if people are confused, it means they're doing it. It means
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
sat there in
yeah.
the kitchen
Otherwise,
and
they
actually...
can't
They're trying
fine.
to figure it
Yeah,
out.
if they're
right?
calling
Otherwise,
restaurants
get
and stuff.
punished.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this is about sorting of different categories, but there is another issue that's about timing, the 2-time slots in a
Yeah.
day where you're allowed to throw away your trash. So we'll talk about that. You're watching Crossover. We'll be right back.
Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the studio, and now we're going to continue our discussion about waste sorting.
Waste sorting in 4 categories. Do you see any problems at all in this way of sorting?
I think like earlier we mentioned about all of those items that put in different categories. I think that most of the items can be put in the compost bin. They can be turned into a really rich soil and then go back to the nature, go back to do gardening or do planting.
No need for 4 categories.
Yeah, that's too
Only
much.
2?
2 or 3. Yeah,
So
I
what
think,
would it be? So it'd be
It
recycle?
would need to be at least 3.
yeah, so like recycle is definitely one, and also compost bins is also one, and then other things that can be like waste that's dangerous is another one.
Hazardous one.
Yes.
Yeah, hazardous waste.
Like the leftovers for, I don't know, the needles for medical use and...
But then how many people are producing hazardous waste? I mean, if you work in a facility that does
Right.
produce that kind of waste, usually you have like a Sharpie bin in
Yeah.
hospitals.
Yeah.
There's not many times I've had to throw out any poison that I've bought or, you know,
Like-
film from a...
But
they usually
batteries would
combine it
come
with-
into it, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
and they usually combine it with your electronic waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
batteries, that's another category,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like
Hazardous
you
to
can
the
take it
environment.
to somewhere else for
The street
recycling.
bins in Shanghai, you can put batteries on. They have a battery compartment.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that's the very
Have you ever
confusing
looked
part.
inside?
For the normal batteries,
Cigarette.
like
No
the
batteries.
AA and the AAA batteries, it's harmless actually. You can combine them with the household, the residue waste together. And for those rechargeable batteries and those acid liquid batteries, you
That's
have to
hazardous to the
that's the
environment.
hazardous. You have to put it into the hazardous waste category.
So, about this, I mean, is that invented only by Shanghai, or this is kind of some international practice and experiences?
That's the international.
International.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
international.
international. And I think I see different cities have different sorting classification. So
Well, Shanghai is the first city
4 for me, well, no. Shanghai is the first city to
implement this.
compulsory ask
Yeah.
for this sorting. But many other cities actually encourage already.
Yeah.
So they have their own classification. And for me, I think 4, it's reasonably complicated.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Too much. That's too much, huh? So what about timing things? You mentioned that we have only...
That's
what are
the
you
most
smiling at?
That's the most painful things for the small family, the new families. Like 2 husband and wife have to go to
Double
work
income.
in the morning, and usually we come back to home about 7 o'clock. So
After work.
yeah, we need to finish our dinner before 8, so we can dispose of our waste
So
before.
the timing was...
It's not so acceptable for all
When?
It's morning 6 to 8.
6 to 8?
And in the evening, that will be 6 to 8 again.
6 to 8 too.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
6 to
it
8.
depends on each area, you
Yeah.
said before.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
save it for the next morning then.
Yeah.
Morning,
It's
okay,
smelly.
right?
It's summer season. Come on.
Do you
Yeah.
take out your waste every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the usual thing you do.
My kitchen's tiny. I can't store a lot of
Yeah.
waste. I empty pretty much
How
every
big's
day.
your bin?
Small one.
Small bin.
Buy a bigger bin?
But
I
then
have a
where to put it?
suggestion.
We've got a
No,
very
yeah.
skinny
A suggestion.
Yeah, I have a suggestion. So like for us, we don't create in many kitchen waste, and if we have waste, we put in a bowl and then put in the freezer, so it don't have any smell. So just make sure don't waste anything.
You will have to sacrifice 1 drawer in your freezer for that,
Yeah.
admittedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we actually don't eat any
So
frozen
you're
food.
saying
so,
you put some trash in the freezer?
Because
Yeah,
it, can't,
trash
it won't
waste.
smell.
Food waste.
Skins
Food
and,
wa-
yeah, yeah.
food waste.
You need to have a bigger one.
Okay.
We don't have any other way.
So it doesn't
But
smell,
the
you need to
low
get out the
temperature can
next day.
definitely influencing the efficiency of your composting
Oh,
machines, right?
we have
you
to
need
tell more.
temperature.
That's not how we compost. So
Yeah.
to make it really simple, we have a compost bin outside of our apartment. It's on the same floor, but it's away in a corner
But
where no
we-
one walks to.
But the thing is, you guys are zero.
Waste.
What is that? Zero waste campaigner. So these
for
guys
most
are
Yeah,
going to
we
that
are
extreme.
ordinary
But-
people.
yeah, exactly. What about for just
Yeah.
people? You know.
Sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying-
Put in practice.
right now, what we do is
Normal in other countries.
100% easier than what you're having to do in Shanghai.
So how do you solve that problem? The
Right.
bins are not big enough. The
Yes.
apartment is not big enough. They don't want to hold the
Also,
waste
the
for long.
times for most people, like for me,
Yeah.
most people are leaving for work at that time or taking their kids to school or something. My first class is at 8 o'clock. I'm in the office from 7:30, so I usually get up around 6. I'm on the bus by 6:30, 6:45.
Yeah. Take them with you on the bus.
Yeah, that's a good
The
idea.
school does
Yeah.
have recycling bins now, but yeah, generally I'm not going to sit there on the bus. Morning. So I think for a lot of people, the time that's been mentioned in the morning is inconvenient, and
Yeah.
also with people, they come home, they make dinner, and then they're, oh, I've got to rush down now and do it. So I think
But
there's...
it's interesting how people say it's inconvenient. In the States, it's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you
6
put,
to 8?
well, you put they collect it in the morning, so you put it outside of your house. So we have the curbside collection scheme, where you put your trash outside your door and then
But
pick it up in the morning.
Can you just leave them by the bin, before the collecting time?
Like in the States, you can.
But
Wait,
here
sorry,
we
I need to
don't-
interrupt and get rid of a few myths. It absolutely does not smell after 1 day of waste in your kitchen. That is utter rubbish, and I intended that
Yeah,
pun.
Shanghai
okay?
doesn't have a pun,
That
is
is
it?
utter rubbish, so we
It's
can't
only
say
because
that.
it's not
Yeah.
practiced yet in Beijing.
Too much, yeah, that is utter rubbish. You have a lid on your bin, you get a bigger bin.
Let's-
You
No,
will not.
yeah.
It will not smell after one
the
day,
climate-
unless your
the
cat
climate,
is climbing
is
up and doing what
different.
the cat needs
Let's
to do into your bin.
listen to the
then it's gonna
younger
smell.
generation. How do you deal with it?
Well, the other reason I said that my life was not severely affected.
You don't cook.
Should I say I am the?
She just told us why
I'm
mine.
should I say I'm the lucky one? Because actually, well, just like Matt has mentioned, it varies from place to place, from neighborhood to neighborhood. So actually, in my neighborhood, there's no strict time restriction.
So it's not
Yes.
24 hours?
I guess it's 24/7 because for the past 2 weeks, I dumped my garbage like around 10 o'clock.
You were breaking the
10
law.
PM. So I have done the waste sorting in a proper way,
Yeah.
but when I visited the drop-off point, the designated area, there's no one there. And
So it's not like the whole unanimous. It's not like in the
Yeah.
city. It's different rules.
like
Yeah,
in my
I haven't got it
neighborhood,
yet in
there's
my-
little
my area.
enforcement and supervision, but I asked around, and most of my friends said that they only have 2 to 4 hours.
So
during-
that's your community's problem then.
Yeah. So perhaps my neighborhood is the bad apple. So
No.
I presume they're starting off with these times because when you go down to do you have people standing
Yeah.
around the bins?
It's because
Okay,
they can
so
enforce
it's
it.
an
They have
introduction.
volunteers.
Yeah.
It makes sense to enforce it. I think it's mildly inconvenient, but it's not a huge reason not to do it. What doesn't make sense is in some places, like you said, they have the times, then they kind of shut the recycling bin.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the sorting bins, and then they have a normal bin. So if you come down at 10 o'clock with your sorted
Recycle,
waste,
right?
and then it's locked, you're like, well, just throw it in the normal bin. So it defeats the
It's
purpose.
locked.
Well, yeah, they're closed.
yeah,
they have
the area will
controls.
be closed.
But the thing is, why is it so important to have the disposing time slot?
Because you
Like-
need to make people do it.
Yeah.
Shanghai, since I've lived there, has had recycling and non-recycling bins on every single street. And you walk down and everyone just throws whatever in whatever, and then you watch the truck come and they lift both bins and put them both in the same truck.
See?
Yeah.
It's futile. Until you actually encourage people to take the step to actually sort it, you won't get the
But
change to
one
stick.
thing they never had, and I can't believe no one ever does it. Same in England, we don't have this. But in public bins, there should be a big sign behind it and explaining what goes in each bin in detail. Like now that Shanghai have done this with this
Well, they put those
education.
on the-
Yeah, put
Yeah.
down a big sign. And also, they should put like a line there and be like, there should be something like, stop, think before you cross this line, before the bins, all right? That would solve it. I mean, you have that for people to cross the road. I mean,
Yeah.
because if that didn't work, then why would they have the line to say, like, stop, look left? Do people look at that line and go, I know how to look left? It's like, well, actually, no, loads of people got run over. They put that sign, it's reduced people getting run over. Put a sign, put a line.
Yeah, in the UK, do you have the sorting policy as well?
Yeah, so county by county probably changes. This is how we do it in Bedfordshire, where I'm from. You have a food bin under your kitchen sink.
Big enough?
No, quite small. And then you have a larger food bin outside. Biodegradable bags are given to you by the council. All your food waste goes in there. I don't know who's eating oysters at home, but whoever is eating oysters at home can put their oyster shell in there. And then you take it outside. Who is eating an oyster at home?
Who is not?
Who buys oysters to their home?
Oysters at home?
Who is doing that?
If they're on sale, I'm buying.
Yeah, I mean, they're horrible for a start. Anyway, then you take that outside, and that goes into the food bin.
Anytime you want.
Yeah, because that's your own bin. That's your own bin. So we're talking. We'll get to. I realise it's a bit more complicated.
That means you have your own house, right? We live in a high building.
But then we're just doing that and scaling it, right? You're just saying this is one person's bin. This is doing that same thing. This is one large bin, and 100 people are doing the same thing. This is what we're trying to do now. We're trying to get people to work together as a community. Okay. Community. If we talk about do we have an environmental problem? Do we have a waste problem? No, we don't. We have a community problem. We have people not caring anymore. We have people saying they have too much. They don't have time to do any of this stuff.
So basically, you're suggesting Ms. Ma move to a different community.
I wouldn't maybe suggest for Ms. Ma. I would hope people could say hello to each other and speak to people. They don't have to go hello, hello, hello. But add a bit of community in, and people will start to do this. But anyway, we'll go back to the other bins. The other bins then are one recycling bin, and that takes paper, cardboard, plastic. Another recycling bin just for glass, and that's because glass will break, and that's dangerous when it gets to the sorting stations.
Yeah, recyclables in different categories, but this timing slot thing, that's the policy introduced by many different communities, not just your community.
Yeah, not just exactly
it's only
same timing, but it's
same timing.
No,
not the same time.
Not the same timing.
Okay.
That should be decided by
the local area.
By the locals.
But quite similar times.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, but that is encouraged by the municipal government.
I think, as you mentioned, it's about enforcement. It's about making sure people are actually doing it. One issue that one friend did bring up with the household waste, you're not supposed to put plastic bags. So you don't want to put all your household waste into a plastic bag, then throw the plastic bag in.
Yeah.
So most people, if they're taking it down in kind of a bucket or a container with a flip lid, so as you say, keeps the smell and things like that. But then if you're going down in the morning, I know it's a minor inconvenience, but it is one. You live in a 30-story building, you're on the 28th floor, you come down with your household waste bucket, you throw it in, and now you've got a bucket. Now, are you going to put this in your car? Are you going to take it on the metro with you, or are you going to go back upstairs now to the toilet, put your bucket back again, come back down and go to work? And I think, I know, we want people to take responsibility, but people don't.
Reusable. So the answer to that, and it can just be solved with one very simple thing: biodegradable plastic bags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Biodegradable plastic bags should only be used in certain circumstances, and as far as I can see, there's only one, and it's for food waste. We shouldn't be using biodegradable plastic bags as the alternative to the plastic bag problem, because instead we should be using reusable bags.
Okay. But about the sorting, about the timing thing, do you think these current policies are meeting the needs of the residents? Say, we need the time, we need the bags, we need the place to throw the waste.
Well, it's really hard to say. I have talked to the cleaning man in my parents' neighborhood. He complained to me, actually.
Even them complained about that?
They complained about that.
What did they complain about?
They said, well, usually there will be 31 waste bins in the whole neighborhood, but nowadays they concentrate in the one location with only 6 bins. So that's not big enough to put the whole community's waste in these 6 bins for those 2 time zones for every day. So he has to be there all the time to clean up the bins. Once it's full, then he need to dump it, put those waste on his trucks. So he has to. He has to spend more time than usual.
Yeah, how
besides,
big are your bins
in
Shanghai? How big are they?
Besides,
like, give me a...
It's all about the size of the bin, right?
UK wheelie bins. So
Oh, is it? Okay.
The really big ones.
Yeah,
they're not dumpsters. They're more like you could push them on your own.
The idea is to reduce or to encourage people to reduce waste, but it's not there yet. That means
It's
that
one step at a time. And
Exactly.
I feel for him, but I would also say that's his job. Like, I'm required to be at my job all the time because they pay me.
Ask him to find a new job in her community.
Again, a raise, I guess.
It will take a few months for all people to get adapted to this. But I think one important thing is that the government needs to rebuild the trust and the confidence of all the community, because as we said, that in the old day, actually, the government also encouraged, I'm not just saying Shanghai government, but many other municipal government also encourage people to sort those garbage. But people realize that we sort it and it comes mixed again. So I think that's a challenge that the government now is facing, that how to rebuild the trust.
I mean, this is a new policy introduced barely for only 3 weeks, not 1 month yet. So even maybe the government is not quite sure what will happen, but this is a new policy. And one thing is for sure, our life is different.
Forever changed.
For now. It's changed forever. So we'll talk about this after a short break. You're watching Crossover.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the studio, and then we're continuing our talks about this whole change of lifestyle that's going to happen to everyone here in China eventually.
Now imagine this, what about we introduce this new policy like in Japan or in maybe other countries, the government or the agency would collect certain categories of waste every 2 weeks, you know, different timing for different categories of waste. Do you think this is going to work in Shanghai, in China?
2 weeks.
Think about it.
Not leftovers.
If recycling.
For other categories, it is acceptable. 2 weeks is acceptable.
For like bottles?
Yes.
I'm just thinking about which place in my apartment could
You're going to keep them?
Keep them.
Because I myself do not produce a lot of recyclables.
You don't spend too much time.
I do not have a lot of.
You don't cook. You don't.
I do not have a lot of snacks, bottled drinks. So.
Well, maybe the government needs to introduce more policies encouraging these people to reuse or to reduce.
Yeah, as they said, to reduce the amount of waste.
Yeah, use less.
Yeah, I think it takes not just a few months, but a few years and maybe 1 generation to get us to used to it. But from the market perspective, this also drives another change, that is eco-design. Because people will buy the things that can easily be recycled or disposed of, right?
So the manufacturers, they have a responsibility.
That's business.
That's a new business.
That's business.
They can charge more. That means we are going to pay more.
Or they can sell more with the same price.
If they're willing.
More. If it's inconvenient to you, but it's convenient to pay an extra 5 RMB to know, oh, I've got packaging that I know I can recycle, you'll pay it. Rather than, oh, I've got to sit and wash.
Yeah, it can also
people want to pay.
Yeah, or reuse items is actually saving money in the long run.
Time to go out and buy things.
Yeah. One of the things my girlfriend's been saying sort of thing about reusing. She said when she orders stuff on Taobao, it comes in loads of packaging, and then you take it out, and then the packaging goes away. So what is the same driver every single time? I know him.
I give it back all the time.
So just have a reusable box.
But you know, sometimes the delivery guy just dumped it, and because they have loads of boxes.
Oh, they don't want to deal with it.
So they don't want the trouble.
I'll just leave all the boxes to the cleaning lady. She'll just take them.
Recycle, he won't get the money.
So everyone is saying, because this is new policy, and probably this policy is going to be introduced to more cities. You're saying 34 cities?
46.
46 cities.
Including Shanghai. That means 45 cities are looking at Shanghai.
We'll be adopting this new policy very soon, might be this year. So, and we're also saying, you know, lives will be different with this new policy. How is it changing your life?
I do have to spend more time to sort the waste coming from food delivery, because, you know, disposable chopstick goes to residual, and the soup goes to the sewer, so it's more complicated and confusing. So for several times, I have to reach out to my phone, to those apps and mini programs for help to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So basically, I have to spend 20 or 30 minutes per day on this waste sorting thing. But it's not a big deal. I mean, I know it's part of my responsibility as a citizen to do this thing. So previously, as Dr. Guo has mentioned, the garbage collector used to mix all the things up.
Yeah.
And so back then, when I got lazy, I would not do the sorting because I know that
it's going to be mixed
yeah,
anyway.
it would be meaningless. Our effort was in vain. But now, as far as I'm confident, I'm sure that those garbage will be taken care of afterwards. So I would love to do my part.
Okay.
That is so interesting to hear that this right now is taking people 20 to 30 minutes per day. And before I say what I'm about to say, I don't expect everyone to be doing what we do overnight. But you can do it in 1 year. You can do it in 1 year with small changes. We spend 0 minutes per day organizing our waste. The only thing that we put into a bowl, which I'll go back to the thing about composting, we put into a bowl which goes in our freezer, is our food waste, and that's from the kitchen. So it takes me the same amount of time to put it in that bowl as it would to put it into a food bin.
Yeah.
And so this is amazing to hear that it's taking people this much time, and people think, oh, zero waste, extremely inconvenient. No, recycling to that level is extremely inconvenient.
Carrie?
Yeah, on top of that, I think as individual customers, we also have the right to vote what we want to, what future we want. Like you said, the enterprise, the company, they have a big responsibility, but as an individual, we're actually voting for the company we want to support.
Yeah.
So by the things that they, maybe they can be either reused for a long time, or they can be easy to repair, or can be easy to recycle. So you can support this company to help them to grow their business and help them to do more good things. But if we all supporting the company who generate bad quality and loss of packaging, then they will generate producing more and more, and they will creating more waste. And then we have spent so much time, money, and effort to do all the recycling, sorting, and do all this end part. So I think if we can just use our money to vote the company we want to support.
Vote with our wallet.
But
Do keep recycling for now, for anyone who's watching, until you get to that level. Keep recycling.
But what is currently happening to your life with this policy?
For me, not very much. My compound hasn't introduced a new recycling system yet. Other friends' compounds have, so when I'm going to visit them, they're separating.
So they've all quit their jobs, right, in order to deal with it?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a huge issue. People don't like change, in general. It doesn't matter what the change, if it's beneficial or not. You have to unfreeze, make a change, refreeze, and all this takes time. There's resistance. I think it's good that it's top-down, it's being actually enforced, and it's being encouraged rather than bottom-up, which tends to get a local area, a particular community that will do it, but then it doesn't spread. For me, in terms of work, so I go to university in the morning, and I work for a school which will start again in September. Just before we left school, they sent emails around, it was the end of June. As of next year, there will be no bins in the classroom. There will be recycling bins available in the corridor. Kids will have to sort the waste. So I will have to say, okay, right, what does it go in? I think that's good.
No bins.
It's great.
No bins in the classroom. There are recycling bins in the corridor, so you take the waste out.
Educating them, so that's...
But for me, the change for the recycling came in, same thing, late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
You get used to it. It just becomes a norm part of your life.
Yeah.
In the UK, any home you walk into will have different degrees, but they will all sort.
What about extend this idea to the street? Say no bins on the street.
It depends. That we have in the London Underground, the metro system in London, for a long time there were no bins, largely for reasons of terrorism and fire. They don't want accumulation of waste or somewhere you can put packages. And it does. People psychologically don't throw waste. And actually when they see a bin, they throw waste near the bin, and it doesn't necessarily go in, and then you get kind of piled up. So, yeah, take that away.
So we need to teach people to be better at basketball.
We need to, this is it. You can't rely entirely on them to kind of make the change. You have to kind of nudge them in the right direction.
Aim it before you throw it.
You need that line again. Aim before you throw.
It could be a 2-point line and a 3-point line.
But
Everyone in China would start doing it properly.
You know what? The thing is, in China, it took so many years for us to form this habit of using the bin, throw your waste into the bin, and now you're taking them away.
Well, it
might be counterproductive, leading to littering. So it depends on place to place again.
So otherwise, I mean, there could be this case, hey, no bins, not my fault. I mean, I need to throw my waste.
Yeah.
You don't provide any bins at all on the street?
Like in Japan, they don't have a bin on the
Japan
street.
don't have
That's Japan.
So you have to carry the
That's
trash.
Japan. They've been sorting garbage for all these years.
I'm really happy to listen to what she just said, that it's a personal responsibility. I think if you ask the younger generation, I think most of the younger generation will share this idea that it's also personal responsibility. And if this is becoming a changing mindset,
it might work in the future.
They will put it in the pocket.
Okay. Will you?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. A big pocket.
I mean, I do it all the time. I can't
We
find
just
it.
need some time
put
to
the
get
trash
used
in
to
my
it.
bag.
Yeah.
I ate a pear this morning, and I have this middle part. How do you call that? I don't know.
The
And
core.
a core. I just put in my tote bag pocket.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
you have
compost
a
that.
pocket.
Or I just put it in the bushes.
What about you
Put it behind your
personally?
ear.
What is happening to you?
Well, we're gonna go to the restaurant in person instead of using the delivery
Yeah, I was
food.
thinking
Very
about
good.
this. It's going to
Yeah.
really change the whole
Great.
food delivery.
Yeah,
business.
and
Or just
when
put
you
it
go shopping, you I even say no to those plastic
Yeah.
the paper
bags,
bags.
yeah.
Yeah, I already have my bag. I could put in
Use
my
less.
own bags. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that will cost too much waste in my home.
Okay.
And from this thing, I have learned that my parents and my kids, actually, I don't know where they learned those things, but when I find my mom automatically separating those household and the residential waste, I was totally surprised. My mom said, it's okay, it's our responsibility to do that, so
Wow.
those things. So I was so surprised about that,
Come
actually.
on, trust your mom.
Yeah, yeah. And
Have some faith.
And they're doing so well. My son always asks me for some kind of wraps, like the lollipop wraps. Where that goes, Mom? Here's a question for you. He's 5 years old. He's asking me what it goes, where it goes.
The quick learners.
Yeah, yeah. They practice quite a lot in the kindergartens. So
It's also fun for them to do the sorting.
Yeah.
yeah.
This goes there,
Yeah.
this goes there.
Yeah.
I don't know any different. They just learn it, and then that's their behaviour
Yeah,
for the rest
exactly.
of their life.
Yeah,
I learned
exactly.
5.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
my
the
mum said,
future, yeah,
yeah,
the
here,
reforms
there.
need to happen.
And their kids, their grandkids will be like, oh yeah, granddad does this.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
yeah.
speaking of that, we have a video we want to show you guys and see what you guys think about it.
Take a look.
A food delivery order has come to our attention. A customer requested for fewer pearls in her bubble tea, asking for 5 to 10 pearls only. According to Shanghai's new garbage sorting rules, the pearls in the bubble tea are considered kitchen food waste, and the cups and lids are residual waste. While this restaurant has received an order for oysters without shells because the customer doesn't know how to dispose it. Since the implementation of this new policy, restaurants have been receiving requests from customers based on these changes. The requests for no utensils have also risen on online food delivery platforms, with one vendor showing a 204% increase.
Oysters, no shells. Lunch
milk
boxes,
tea.
no chopsticks needed because I have my own.
Right.
Bubble tea, no bubbles.
Not too many bubbles.
Yeah,
Definitely not. So I don't have to waste it.
One too much.
I said 5 to 10 only.
Yeah.
We cannot finish them anyway. So where did I put them? Which bin?
But that's just food wastage. When I ran the Shanghai soup thing in Shanghai, it was about raising awareness. In fact, we waste about 30% of our food. Why are you ordering something you know you're not going to finish? Like, if just eat or drink the bubbles.
But
You
the
don't
portion is that big. I mean,
Get a
it's
swallow.
the standard way of serving.
Because it looks better for them. People want to have more. People, for some reason, get excited by excess. But it's also, forget the bubbles for a moment, just sitting in a restaurant, it is I have to use Chinese, 面子问题. It's like it's a face problem,
issue.
It's a face issue. And we've always thought about doing a campaign that actually it should be a 面子问题if you leave and waste food. It shouldn't be a 面子问题that your friends and family and your work colleagues are like, oh, he's pretty tight. He didn't buy enough dishes for 6 of us. He only bought 12 dishes.
That
God.
might be changing. Might be changing
Maybe.
with the new
Yeah,
generation.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Actually, those family gatherings, more and more senior persons voluntarily to packing those leftover food.
Take them back.
Take them back. We're all
And to
families.
throw them
yeah.
away.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that is,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
my point I was
Yeah.
going to make. That is what's happening with so much of this. So many people are dabowing stuff, and if people are saying they don't have time to do the waste, they don't have time to remember, oh, actually, when did I dabow that? Was that 2 days ago? And then they're like, oh, I can't remember now. It's probably gone bad, and they're going to throw it away. And also with dabowing, you have
that happens.
you have to
well,
use
that's
plastic.
a different issue, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's all linked.
Idea.
At least they have the mindset to take them back
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of just
Sure, but I think the point is to just order what
less
you need.
in a
Yeah,
first
that's
Because
true.
otherwise it's a
That's
plastic
true.
pot,
You can
it's a
bring
plastic bag,
You
it's
can bring
so
your
many
own
more
bottle
steps.
to get, like, order some, like, milkshake or things.
Yeah.
Or ask for a reusable
That is why
jars.
you always bring your own bottle?
Yes, always.
I also have
Always.
my own bottle, but
Yeah.
it's really funny because when I go to a bubble tea store, I get my
Yeah.
own bottle out. They're like, "What is this for? Do you want water?" I was like, "No, it's for my tea." But they look at me and is like, "Are we allowed to do this?" And the guy asked someone else, and they're like, "Okay, yeah."
But in
I know, are we
Scotland,
allowed
You
to
get
do
really
it? Why
confused
not?
when you bring
Yeah.
your own
Yeah,
bottle.
sometimes they think it's a
we
hygiene
don't,
problem.
we don't mention the name. Anyway, so.
In some coffee shop.
Yeah.
In some coffee shop.
Yeah, in some coffee shops, they
tea.
encourage people to use their own
Cups.
cup.
Yeah.
With the
Discount.
discount.
And also
Yeah.
nowadays, paper straw is also becoming a big thing to
Yeah,
replace the
exactly.
plastic straw.
Yeah, well, we do have a lot to talk about this new policy, and that is why we decided to do 2 episodes about this topic. So we'll see you again next week.
See you again.